My client has interviewed over 50 specialists this year for a particular role, and the results? Terrible. Complete waste of time and money. And this is the most interesting part. His business is wildly profitable. His team handles 12 to 13 accounts each and delivers the absolute best-in-class results. So why can't he grow? Because he's trapped in what I call the capacity constraint paradox. You see, my client's situation is every successful service business owner's nightmare. His account managers are maxed out, 12 to 13 clients each. That is the brain capacity limit, 12 active accounts, 12 sets of client assets, 12 weekly client meetings. So to grow, he needs another version of his best people. But finding talent, nearly impossible. He told me the talent coming into this space is garbage. They don't understand it at all. Sound familiar? Perhaps you've built something that works, but success becomes a trap and you need more of yourself, but you can't clone yourself. So here's the systematic approach I walked him through. The same framework I use when service businesses hit capacity walls. Step one is an activity audit. Document what your key people actually do for a week. We used to call this running the clocks. It's not what they think they do, what they actually do. My client is implementing this with his team right now. Now, when I was running a dealership with 70 staff across 3 locations, I needed a boardroom table and post-it notes to fully do this exercise. I would put out every single activity that we do in the business on a post-it note and every single person in the business across the top of the boardroom table, and then I'd put the notes underneath it. So you write down every single task, you put the people's names across the top, and you stick the tasks under each person. You'll find some people are drowning in way too many tasks and others with capacity that you didn't know existed because they've got very few things to actually do. And also make sure you audit the task. Some people think filling up a water cooler is a task, but that is probably a very low level activity. Step 2, leverage detection. Ask the killer question. What could we remove that would make no difference to the outcome? Obviously, if you can peel the tasks off and put them in the bin and never do them again, then that would be amazing. I've been able to do that in my business repeatedly, especially when I closed my low-tier membership. It removed half a dozen tasks straight away, and then we're finding even more. The tasks are falling away so we can get more and more focused on the things we do. Now, for my clients' team, maybe it's switching from weekly client meetings to async Loom reports. 1 hour of brain-draining meetings becomes 5 minutes of focused overview. And by the way, almost all clients actually prefer that. Most service businesses owners resist it. Oh, but my clients expect face-to-face time. Do they? Or do they just want the results and clear communication in the easily digestible format of a video, which they can play at a faster speed or click on transcript if they prefer to read? They can still let you know if they've got questions. Step 3 is system versus people solutions. Now, he's considering training people from scratch, a 2-year investment. I've done this plenty of times. I think it's great. That's how you get the best staff, because if you can't find players out there who are already doing what you want, remember, they would have brought their own way of doing things, their own values, their own awareness of where they think they're at. And sometimes they're way off from where your culture is as a business. But if you grow your own, that takes care of that issue. It's a valid approach, and there's sometimes a faster path than even growing your own. What if the constraint isn't people, but process? What if automation can handle the repetitive work, freeing up your best team members for strategy and relationship management? So during our call, he's described his team's reality. Each person's managing these accounts. There's probably the max of someone's brain capacity. I know it's well past the 5 plus or minus 2 that other people talk about. And when we dug deeper, the constraint wasn't really the account management itself. It was just all the manual tasks wrapped around it. Weekly status reports, asset collection, performance analysis, client communication. Much of this can be systemized. There are literally agentic workflows where you can text prompt it what you're doing and it starts joining it up for you automatically. I've built a few of these for myself in the last week. I'm using tools that You text prompt, they create the workflows, you click on links to give authority, and before you know it, you have an automation. I have things popping up in my Slack channel linking to a Google Doc with an automated output that was pulled from somewhere. It was a process that I used to do manually, and now it's done automatically. So I think that's the level of automation you should be aiming for. Everything that you're currently doing now, strip away everything that you don't need to do, and of the ones that are left, can they be delegated to a machine? I've shared how I've helped other service business owners move from reactive firefighting to proactive system management. The account managers becoming strategic advisors instead of task jugglers. This type of capacity analysis, identifying what to eliminate, automate, or systemize, is exactly what I work on with my mentor clients. Because most service businesses are trapped thinking the only solution is more people. And I think of any time in history, this is the time where we really have to think about, do we need that extra person, or could we just empower the people we have with way better tools? More account managers, more specialists, more overhead. That's the old way. I think the breakthrough often comes from strategic subtraction and intelligent automation. I'm a huge fan of the 60-4-4 method. And when you discover that almost all the good outputs are coming from so few inputs, there's so much on the table for you to get rid of. So his next step isn't hiring more people. It's auditing what his current team actually does and finding those 10 or 20% of activities that creates a disproportionate leverage. In the mentor program, we do this systematically for agencies, consultancies, service businesses, hitting those exact constraints. I also have my own diagnostic tools that help this process. The capacity constraint that feels like your biggest problem might actually be your biggest opportunity. When you are forced to think systematically about leverage instead of just adding more people, you often discover you can serve your best clients better while reducing complexity. His breakthrough won't come from finding the perfect specialist. He's already tried 50 times. It will come from reimagining how his current team operates. If you're running a service business, feeling trapped, capacity constraints, the answer isn't always more people. Sometimes it's just fewer activities done systematically. If you want to explore how this approach applies to your specific business challenges and you're already generating meaningful revenue, there's information about my mentor program at jamesschramko.com.